LPS students, this is Michael. Today's video is going to cover assignment number 6, Geometric Area, which covers functions. And the purpose of this assignment is not for you to program the functions yourself, it's rather to understand how we can create a relationship among different kinds of files in C++. And you'll see that the requested files for this assignment includes a GeometricArea.cpp. That's your standard C++ file. We have a GeometricArea.h. And so this H file is something new, and it's an interface file. So we can see if we back up to the topic 5 header of the Bitbucket website. So right here. So in the objectives for this topic, we can see that one of the purposes is to understand how to organize our source code for a somewhat complicated program. So in this assignment, we're asked to calculate the areas of different kinds of shapes, whether they have 0 sides, 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, and 4. And each kind of shape that the user will specify by entering, my shape has 4 sides, and this is the length of the first side, this is the length of the second side, this is the length of the third side, etc., etc. Basically, having a program that has multiple kinds of functions, we're going to organize the entire program into 3 separate files. So you can see that the first description for the file, the GeometricArea.h, is an interface file. And they're also called header files. So they end in .h. That's how you can think about them. .h, header, or interface. And what the interface file is going to do, it says here that it's only going to contain definitions of the functions you will use in your program. So the way I talk about functions, I say that they contain 3 kinds of different statements. There are declarations for functions, there are definitions for the functions, and then you can call the functions. So that's kind of like what I've been hammering in class. In the interface file, we're going to include the declarations of the functions. So that's basically just saying the name of the function and the kinds of input parameters it takes in, and its return type as the prefix. So something like, int get area of int height, comma, int width would be just the declaration of the function. So we're going to put the function declarations in the interface file. Whereas in the implementation file, so this is going to include the body of the functions. So that's what I've been calling the definitions of the functions, like basically what kind of operations they do in order to get to that area, to calculating the area. Like, do they multiply the width times the height? If you're calculating a circle, are you going to do, pi r squared? These are definitions where the definitions of your function will be written, and those are provided for you. And finally, there's going to be the test driver file. So this is GeometricArea_test.cpp. So this is what will include the main function, and is going to basically run the program. It's going to ask for user input, and depending on what the user inputs, it will call different kinds of functions in the implementation file. So depending on what the user inputs, like how many sides of a shape they're trying to calculate, the test driver file will call the functions in the implementation file. So I would recommend reading through this this objectives section. It's going to be useful in understanding how we're going to organize the code that we can download from the description. So what I'd recommend doing is, if you haven't done this already, download the requested files, and then you can open them up in the section of Bitbucket that you edit code in. So I use a different text editor, so I'm going to do that myself in my text editor. But I can see that the requested files that we have are here. So when I download the requested files, I see that we have essentially everything inside of the GeometricArea.cpp and nothing inside the GeometricArea test.cpp, and we may or may not have an interface file, a .h file. So what I'm going to do is I am going to download, and I'm going to unzip this, and I will open this in a text editor. Great. So as we can see, when I open the files, I have essentially everything contained in the GeometricArea.cpp file. And our goal is basically to separate parts of this entire file into 3 separate files. The GeometricArea_test file will include the main method, like I discussed earlier. The GeometricArea.cpp file should only contain the definitions of the functions, what they do when they are called, and what how do they derive what the area is that they return. And then finally, the interface or header file, the GeometricArea.h, should only include the declarations for the functions. So let's start with the interface file. We have 3 functions in the area, so I'm going to copy and paste this and move it into the header file. Great, and I'm going to save. So that's basically how we implemented the interface file. Pretty simple, we just move the declarations into the interface file. Next, what we want to do is we want to take the definitions of the functions. So we have 3 functions for getting the area, and I'm going to move them to our driver file, the GeometricArea.test. And then I'll save and delete the function definitions from the GeometricArea.cpp file. And now we have basically the kind of formatting that was mentioned in the objectives of this chapter. So again, we have interface file, implementation file, which only just has the body of the functions, and we have the test driver file. So make sure when you're submitting your assignment that you submit 3 separate files that have successfully implemented the separation of function declarations from the definitions. So we're putting the declarations in the header or implementation file, which is right here. We're putting the function definitions in the GeometricArea_test file. And finally, we put the main program inside of the GeometricArea file. So that's essentially it. And just comment or email me if you have any questions on this assignment. Thank you.